Okay, so thank you for joining me today, Beth. For anybody who's watching, I tutor Beth's son in reading a few times a week. Hopefully, Beth's going to be able to talk you through what the process has been like and the difference she's seen in her son. So thank you so much, Beth. So first of all, let's just find out a little bit about your son and what he was like before my session. So his well-being, his attitude towards learning, what was he like?
So he was a very reluctant reader. He struggled a lot with his comprehension and his grammar, which really hindered him reading fluently, and he just outright refused at points. So hence why we got your services, and now we see a completely different little boy.
What was the thing that made you think, actually, yes, I'm going to sign up for some tutoring services? What was it that was really going wrong for him where you thought, no, he needs this?
Well, the main thing was his complete disinterest in reading, point where we were like, we need to do something.
And it's so difficult for parents because quite often you wait for as long as possible because you just think taking that leap just feels like such a big thing to do. But actually, it's the right thing to make that choice.
100%. And once you've done it, you don't look back, because you see such a difference, and in such a short space of time that you've been working with them. I think, what is it, 6 weeks now, and the difference is unrecognizable. I was listening to the session earlier today, and just his willingness to read out loud, especially, but two, decoding. I could really see him trying to decode the word, but independently blend them all together, which again was an uphill battle. I think as well with his age, a lot of it was embarrassment, and again that was a massive barrier to wanting to read, because he was like, oh, I don't know them and I should know them. But yeah, a bit of one-to-one has completely changed that whole attitude.
I noticed that embarrassment when we first started, but what I did pick up on is he's really competitive, and so if you turn it into a game, it just works for him. Now the embarrassment has melted away, that's not holding him back anymore, and he's willing to take risks and try and sound.
Absolutely. But had we have not addressed it, and through no fault of the system, teachers can't do that in the classroom. He did need an extra bit of help, and once we addressed that, look how much he's transformed in a matter of weeks.
And if you asked him about what his thoughts were about reading before, what do you think he would say?
I would have got a few grunts, to be honest, and no engagement in the conversation whatsoever. And I'm not saying that he would sit down now and read a novel, because that's, he struggles with it. But just, you look at where he was, where he is now, and where he's going to be in, even a year. He might grab that novel and love reading.
There are lots of tutors out there. What made you decide to go for me?
Well, obviously, I knew yourselves through schools that my kids have been to. You work closely with one of my other sons, and I thought, well, if you can deal with him, you can deal with my other son. And obviously, your head teacher background, your Senko background. Senko for me was key, because you had, you've got a wealth of knowledge with SEND children, and that pays dividends, with investing in someone. And obviously, my kids wanted to be around you, and very upbeat, great atmosphere to learn. There's nothing that you won't do to ensure, and you more than understand that not one rule doesn't fit all kids. So you've adapted the way you've done it with him, which has been amazing.
Think about the sessions themselves. Is there anything that you're thinking is working really well for him within the sessions? Anything he's coming back and saying, oh, I really enjoyed doing this?
Obviously, absolutely enjoys the games that you play with him, again, to get him into the reading. He's loving that kind of side of things.
Okay, so if you were to ask him now what his thoughts are about reading, obviously it's been 6 weeks, we're not expecting miracles at all, but if you said to him, okay, we want to sit down and read this book together, would you see any changes in his reaction to reading?
Absolutely. He'd be willing to do it, to sit down with me and read, but equally it wouldn't be me reading, it would be him putting an input in also, which just that alone is a huge improvement. So yeah.
What do you see as a difference now in what he's like in himself compared to before? Has there been a change there?
Absolutely huge. I think this is the most important one for us as parents. Like I said, I've said that the willingness to, but equally being in a place mentally where he can learn, is just everything that you want for your child, isn't it? You know, and when they have that, everything else falls into place slowly, you know.
Yeah. It's never quick. So if there was a parent out there saying, should I take the leap and should I sign up, what would you say to them?
Absolutely. I wouldn't, you know, we pondered for a while, but now we kind of sit back and we think, why didn't we do it sooner? Why didn't we do it, you know, so many more, you know, so many months ago? So we are so happy with the progression, and yeah, we don't regret any.
Well, I'm going to let you go now. Thank you so much. It really, hopefully, will make a difference to any parents out there who are also thinking, should I do this? Is it the right thing for my child? Hopefully they can see that it's worked for you. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.